What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna go over 3 things that no clothing brand owner or anybody affiliated with the clothing brand industry is going to tell you, right? You're not gonna get this for free. So this is straight free game, all videos. So make sure y'all watch. It's only gonna get better from here, man. So I know I said I was gonna have a vlog this week, but I pushed my photo shoot to this week because last week there was a bunch of rain. So hopefully the vlog will come out next week as long as the weather's good and everything. So yeah, let's get into this video. And yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing that nobody is going to tell you running a clothing brand is the fact that the margins suck running a clothing brand. The margins absolutely are trash unless you're running a designer brand like Balenciaga, which you probably aren't, right? Your margins are gonna be horrible, right? Normally when you think of like starting a business, you think, oh, I'm getting sales, like I'm making money, but it's really not the case, right? Because what's happening is you would pay about $20. Let's say you pay $23 for a hoodie, right? And then you sell it for $60, right? Now you would make what, $37. Now you have to take into account the shipping that you paid for, the Shopify apps, your Shopify plan, all these certain things, the money that you spent on ads, if you're running ads, the money that you spent on marketing to get a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot done, all that stuff adds up, right? It might be like, oh, $100 there, $100 here, $100 there. But when you really like keep your expenses in check, you're gonna realize that the margins aren't really amazing. So when you see an influencer saying, I'm making 10K a month, I'm making 20K a month with my clothing brand, normally divide that by 2. So if somebody's making 10K a month, they're probably making 5K, let's be real. Someone's making 20K a month, they're probably making 10K, right? Take into account that, right? So when you're first starting out your clothing brand, don't be like, oh, because I just got a $90 sale on the Shopify, I can go out and get a steak for myself. I can go to steak dinner with all the boys, right? Don't think that just because you did that means that you can go treat yourself or anything, because you probably didn't make anywhere near as much money as you need to be making, right? Please take that into account when you're running a clothing brand. It's genuinely crazy, because when I first started out, I was also the same way. I was like, wow, like these people are making $10,000 a month off of clothes. And then you really look at all the expenses and it's like, bro, I'm not making that much money, right? But at the end of the day, as long as you're consistent, you grind it out and you get enough sales and orders, you will make a good amount of money. And good thing about a clothing brand is the more you do, the better you get, right? The more clothes you sell, the more money will be coming in. And eventually when you get established, you can start raising your prices, right? You see these big brands, Bottega Desires, that just rebranded into a designer brand. You might turn off some customers, but with increased prices, but your margins are insane at that point, right? And the other good thing about growing a clothing brand is the more pieces that you order from your manufacturer, the cheaper it is. So when you first starting out, this is a hellhole to get through, right? But you start ordering more, you start raising your prices, the margins will only get higher. So only think about this margin stuff really when you're first starting out, and make sure you keep all your expenses in check before you do anything. The second thing that a clothing brand owner is not gonna tell you is the fact that this whole clothing brand idea that you come up with, you might think it's most of the time you're designing new clothes, most of the time you're talking to manufacturers. The most time spent running a clothing brand is marketing and planning, right? All I do is I think about video ideas and I think about how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that, and how I'm gonna do that, right? The amount of time, I haven't probably designed a piece of clothing for my clothing brand in like 2 months. It's been 2 months since I've designed anything. So if you're coming into this thinking, oh, like this is a perfect thing for me because I'm super creative and I can make clothing brand pieces, that's not really what it is. It's more of a consistency of marketing and planning and stuff, right? And that's really the whole thing. It's like, I would say about 80% of the time I'm marketing or planning, and then the other 20% would go to shipping orders, designing clothes, and all that other stuff that comes with a clothing brand. Most of the time is spent on planning, marketing, let's just say web designing, right? All that stuff, 80% of the time is what you're gonna be doing. So if you don't like doing any of that stuff, if you don't feel comfortable putting your face to a camera, or not necessarily putting a face to a camera, but putting like ideas out there, being creative and really thinking and going outside and recording videos of the clothes on your phone and like looking like an idiot in a parking lot or something, then this is not for you. Like I can't explain to you how many times I've gone to my mall parking lot and I sit there for like an hour and I'll just get flat lay videos non-stop, and so many people drive by and I'm just like, what do those people like think about me when they're like they just see me just, right? But I mean, I don't at the end of the day, I really don't care. So that's why I feel like a clothing brand was so good for me, is like I'm creative, right? But that creativity, I carry it over to marketing as well. I'm not just designing. Now, if all you want to do is design, then start designing for clothing brands. That's a huge market, and the margins in that is however much you charge, because you're not paying for anything other than your software editing app, and that's a monthly payment. So if you don't want to deal with customer service, marketing, planning, all of this stuff, then get into designing. That's something you should be doing right away, and it's less time consuming as well, and it's more of a service-based thing where you're being creative for others. So if you don't feel like anything I just said applies to you, then probably go design or do something else. And now the last thing that no clothing brand owner is going to tell you, or anybody won't tell you this, is this is the worst time to start a clothing brand right now. And I'll just give you guys a couple of reasons why. When I started my brand back in 2024, I had the idea for 2 years before I acted on anything. And every day I think about what would happen if I acted in 2022 when I first came up with the idea. You can ask any of my friends. I had the brand name down, I had my first drop down, I had everything down for 2 years, and I never acted on anything up until the beginning of 2024. So every day I wake up thinking, like I could have been going crazy if I started 4 years ago. So this is the absolute worst time, because everybody thinks they can start a brand. It's oversaturated. You go on Instagram and you look up clothing, you'll probably see 10 different brands, all looking the same, all looking like this, all looking like that, right? And when you see that, it's like it's super oversaturated. And yes, it's like if you're not built out to compete, then like you shouldn't be running any business. But like this business is so competitive, and I'm not saying you can't make it in the business, but I'm saying you're better off doing something else. But if you are so passionate about a clothing brand and you really like designing clothes, you really like marketing, you really like planning, like I talked about earlier, then get into it. But this is the worst time to start a clothing brand, right? There's probably 1 million brands. There's probably how many different brands do you see a day on your feed? If you're into clothing, you probably are on fashion TikTok. How many times a day do you see a brand marketing piece? And it's the same type of marketing, right? And that it's just all over the place, right? The clothing brand is so all over the place. And not to mention the fact that there are tariffs right now on everything. And the fact that if you do manufacturing in the US, it's gonna be expensive. You do it out of the US, it's not gonna be expensive until those tariffs hit you. So there's so many things that go into it right now, and there's so many problems with the clothing brand industry right now that I don't recommend you do it. But if you're so passionate and you're seeing this video right now and you're watching this and you're not getting discouraged from the fact that I'm telling you not to do it, then you should be doing it, because that shows that you are clearly passionate about this. So please get into it if you feel like you are built out for it. And if you go to my last video, I talk about qualifications that you need to start a clothing brand. So watch this video, and if you want to start a brand, then by all means. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the video for today. Yeah, it was just a quick video talking about 3 things that nobody's gonna tell you about a clothing brand. So you need to be realistic with yourself running a clothing brand, and I feel like this is a good video to be really realistic with yourself and really sit back and think like, man, am I cut out for this? But I think it's always good to be honest with yourself. And who knows, maybe in a couple of years, it'll be a good time to get back into the clothing brand industry. But still, you can get into it. Please, by all means, don't be discouraged by me. But I'm just saying it's not a good time to get into it. But if you feel like you should, then by all means, go ahead. But yeah, thank you guys for the crazy support. I'll catch you guys on the next